What is your profession?
Hello once again guys, welcome back to my new YouTube channel. I will be introducing some sort of ranger build, both viable for solo arena and team arena. Now last night on my Facebook group I had a lot of private messages concerning about some sort of viable ranger build. A lot of people are struggling to find or use or play even a good ranger build for both solo arena and team arena. Well, there is this guildie of mine which came up, or at least told and taught me a very good condition survival ranger build, and I'm gonna show you guys right now. So the credits don't go to me, it goes to my guildie right here. I'm gonna post his Twitch channel right here on the screen. Make sure to check it out. If you're a fellow ranger, follow this guy on Twitch and be sure to watch him sometimes. You can always ask him questions, or me, it doesn't really matter, but the credits goes to him. Now let's start with my ranger right here. Loading screen. Okay. So for this build you will mostly be using the sword dagger and the short bow. I suggest using a Sigil of Doom and the Sigil of Energy and the Sigil of Earth and the Sigil of Doom, or any other sigil instead of this one. On the short bow, it's very important you put the Sigil of Earth on the short bow, because you mostly will be using your short bow. Don't worry, it's a pretty basic build. You don't really need to be experienced at this game to play this build. It's pretty easy. So yeah, there you have it. It's a pretty good build actually. It's pretty fair, and this is actually one of the few builds. Well, yeah, one of the few builds who can counter a humble warrior. This build, ladies and gentlemen, can actually beat a humble warrior. I was dueling a humble warrior placed in the top 400 team arena leaderboard, and yeah, he was constantly losing versus this ranger build. And I do have to say, I'm gonna be really honest with you guys, I'm not experienced at ranger at all. I just discovered ranger with this build recently with my guildie, who was giving me information about it. So yeah, so I'm just gonna post his build. I'm just gonna show it, gonna explain a bit. I won't really show a gameplay because, like I said, this build is pretty straightforward. It's pretty basic. I will just explain the skills and all, and just explain the role inside a team arena or solo arena match. So we will be using the Rune of the Crate. We won't be focusing on the elite bonus right here. We will be focusing on the bleeding duration bonus. This rune right here gives in total a bonus of 45% bleeding duration. This whole build right here is based on bleeding condition. So having 45% extra bleeding duration is quite good. Now I hear people think about, yeah, but in a team fight the enemy support guard will cleanse the bleed right away. Well, yeah, they will cleanse the bleeding right away, that's true, but you will be applying bleeding pretty fast with the short bow, and they will have 8 to 15 stacks of bleeding in a matter of seconds again. So that makes their enemy guardian, well, their guardian actually, waste his cooldowns more, waste his shouts more to support. So it's still a pretty good balanced build. For the amulet, we will be using the rabbit amulet. We will for the precision mostly, also for the toughness, but yeah, most of all for the condition damage, because yeah, it's all based on bleeding condition. For the traits, we will be using 2 marksmanship with Keen Edge. Keen Edge gives Sharpening Stone when the enemy target reached 75% HP. Now, Sharpening Stone is also a utility of yours right here. It's a survivor skill. it doesn't mean if this trait here is gonna proc, you will lose this one. That's not true. So actually you have this skill, you have this utility twice. One time passively and one time actively. So that's pretty insane. Now for the 6 and wilderness survival, we will be going 6, 9 and 13. The 6, well, reduces the recharge of survival skills, which is the sharpening stone, the lightning reflexes and the entangle. So that's pretty good. Hide in plain sight is actually when you got CC'd, you will gain stealth for 3 seconds. Do know it has an eternal cooldown of 30 seconds. So it's not like every time you get CC'd, you will gain stealth. No, it's one time each 30 seconds. For the 13 right here, this is a new trait, ladies and gentlemen, but I do have to say it's a pretty strong and effective trait. Each time you are swapping pets, the first attack of the pet on your target will cause bleeding. Now the second bonus of this trait is that the poison effectiveness is increased by 50%. It does not increase the healing effectiveness. It does it does increase the poison damage. So it won't increase the heal effectiveness, well, the minus 33% heal effectiveness. It will only increase the poison damage by 50%, so keep that in mind. But it's still a pretty good trait. I think, yeah, it's worth it to use it. So you will be mostly swapping pets each time you can, so you gain uptime and you gain permanent poison on your target. Also with the short bow too. There are some other attacks, I think, right here, which is a dodge, so that's pretty good. And here on dagger 4, so that's pretty good as well. Now the 6 and nature magic, each time you get hit, like let's say an eviscerate from a warrior, it will delete like over 10% of your HP. So at that time you will gain protection for 6.5 seconds, which is pretty cool. It decreases the incoming damage by 33%. It's a very underrated skill, guys. It's a really boon, sorry. I meant boon. It's a really underestimated boon. It's one of the best boons actually in game. That's why the Dagger ALAs are using it as well, because it's pretty strong. Now the 8 in nature magic. Every time you got blinded and or poisoned, every 10 seconds when you dodge, they will get removed. So that's a free Condi removal as well. So it's a pretty good trait. Do know, like I said before, it's a 10-second cooldown. The 13 and nature magic, survival of the fittest. Yay, Darwinism. That's one of the best traits right here in the build. Remove conditions and gain fury when using a survival skill. So like I said, you have 3, but actually 4, because you have one passive survival skill right here, because this one is the same as this one. So we got 4 survival skills: the sharpening stone, the lightning reflexes, and the entangle. So every time you use one of those 3 skills, well actually 4, but it's 3 different skills, you will remove 2 conditions, you will gain fury, and this one right here is a stun breaker. It's also an evade, and it also cures condition, and also gives vigor for 13 seconds, which is pretty long, by the way. But you don't want to waste it. I mean, this is your only stun breaker. You don't want to use it just as a normal evade. You want to use it when you're immobilized, or when you really need Condi Cleanse, like let's say if you're at 30% health and you're not far away to use your healing skill, then it might be a good time to use this one. The Entangle, it's one of the best elites for this build. Now I know most rangers are using Rampage as one for the long stability and the fury and stuff, or the Spirit of Nature, but this is not a spirit build nor a power build or whatever. I don't need stability. I have one stun breaker, that's more than enough. Since I play all 8 classes equally, I kinda know the animation and I kinda know when they're gonna burst, so it doesn't really matter. Now why is this skill quite good? Now I'm gonna give you a little bit of advice right here. You have to be on your short bow. Let's say this is an enemy right here. Let's say it's the enemy blah 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 guardian. Yeah, let's say it's the guardian. So you want to entangle him, that makes him immobilized. Now what you want to do is turn around him. You want to stand behind him, because like we all know, if you're immobilized you can't dodge, nor you can't turn as well. So if you can't turn, that means you can't attack in front of you, behind as well. So it's better, if the target is immobilized, to stand behind him and spam your skills. So like you see, the bleeding stacks are coming quite fast with this build. So when you entangle someone, you don't want to stay in their front view. You want to turn as fast as possible behind them. You may go close. Well, if it's a hammer, if it's a warrior with hammer, I suggest to take some distance, because he might use hammer 4 to knock you down, which is the PB AoE. So it's a AoE around him, point blank. Oh my god, I'm stuttering again. Never mind. So if you entangle someone, just stand behind him. Like I said, if the warrior is on the hammer, just take some distance so you won't get CC'd by its point blank AoE. There we go. Yes, I'm Einstein. Anyway, so I discussed the traits. Right, okay, I discussed the traits. Now for the utilities, you will be using Troll Ungent, which ticks every second for 10 seconds. So basically, with each tick you will heal 850. Now that's not a lot, but if you multiply that with 10, it's a healing of 8,500, which is pretty much actually. So yeah, you don't need to worry. This healing skill is very good. It's good enough to counter whatever class and build. For the sharpening stone, like I explained earlier. Now the signet of stone is a signet you want to keep as a passive one. Don't forget it. Never activate it, because once you activate it you will lose a lot of toughness, makes you more vulnerable. So you don't want to activate the signet. You want to keep it as a passive one. So never activate it. It's exactly the same as the healing signet for warrior. They don't use it either. If they do, well, they die. Simple. So never use the signet. For the third utility right here, it's the lightning reflexes. Like you can see, it gives 30 seconds vigor, it gives fury, it removes immobilize, but it also removes 2 additional conditions because of this trait right here, the survival of the fittest. Darwinism is our man. He's our guy, man. He's the boss. So yeah, there you go for the utilities. So basically, what you want to do when you're fighting a target, you want to switch as much as possible with your pets, because their first attack will be a poison based attack. So you want to keep the uptime with poison. So I'm gonna attack this guy right here, and I'm gonna first fear him a bit, then I'm gonna switch, and normally the first attack will be poison, as you can see. So you want to keep poisoning up now. I can use poison with this one as well. I can use poison with this one as well. There we go. I'm gonna take a bit of distance, gonna heal already. Yeah, I saw it coming, I was too late. So I'm gonna immobilize him with the spider right here. I'm gonna switch back to my wolf, so the first attack will be poisoning again. So that's pretty good. As you can see, he had like a 13-14 second poison. So you want to keep poisoning up on your target as much as possible. As you can see, when the NPC was using melee attacks, I go to my melee sword dagger web set as well, and I'm gonna use my evades. You got 3 evades right here, which are pretty strong, to be honest. Certainly the 4th one, because it has an evade window of over a second. Even sword dagger thieves, the dodgy thieves, the one people is crying all the time because it dodges too much. Well, this dodge right here is almost 3 times as big as the sword dagger thieves dodge, because the sword 3 on the thief is half a second, the evade window is very small, so a thief really has to time it. Like a ranger, you can just spam those 3 right after each other and don't get hit by a whole burst. So yeah, with the short bow, as you can see, the last one is a daze, but if you hit from behind, it's a stun. It doesn't really matter, daze or stun, it's quite the same. Only with the stun, they will they will just stand stationary for 1 second. You also want to spam this one as well as long as you can because of the cripple. The extra bleeding doesn't do that much, but it's always welcome since we're mostly focused around bleeding damage. So I will hit him again, dodge the first burst, gonna cripple him, gonna daze him, gonna fear him now with my wolf skill. There we go, gonna put poison on him, gonna switch pet, and the first attack will be poison again. He got 11-second poison. There we go. I will take some distance, gonna put another bit of poison on him, gonna put more poison on him, and again a bit more. He had over 20 seconds poison right there. So as you can see, this build is very effective in 1 versus 1 situations. You just have to time your dodge as well. You just have to time your poison as well. And like I said before, you really need to switch pets every time you can, because you really need to keep the poison pressure up on the target. Now anyway guys, again, this is not my build. The credits goes to my guildie. His Twitch channel, I will link it here again on the screen. Go to his channel if you want to see more ranger action. He's one of the best rangers I've ever seen. He knows a lot about rangers, from Beastmaster to Spirit Ranger to this ranger. I mean, he just fools around with all some sorts of ranger builds, so you don't need to worry. If you got questions for him, just ask him. If you're interested in joining Zeus, by the way, our TPVP guild, just go to www.zeuspvp.shifter.com. I will there is a link actually. If you go to my YouTube channel, there is a link right above in the banner, so you can just feel free to apply. Just read the conditions and our house rules, and if you're up for it, you can just apply and we will soon contact you. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, I'm not gonna be showing gameplay videos because this build is pretty straightforward. It's really basic. It comes down to 1 versus 1 situations where this ranger is pretty good at. Like I said, this build also counters Hambo, so if you want to have if you want to beat that certain friend of yours with this Hambo, with this stupid Hambo, well, just use this build and just smash his face and let him eat some dirt. So yeah, there we go. Guys, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you soon again. Bye.